Hi everyone, we are back on CopperPod, and this time I'm with again one of my dear student, Shaun Tuscano. Hi Shaun.
Hello, ma'am.
And believe me, we are in his bungalow. I mean the bungalow which he has designed after becoming an architect.
Yeah.
After becoming an architect,
Yeah.
or before getting the
No,
after
becoming
becoming the architect, right?
Yeah.
So the interesting part of Shaun, which I would like to say, is that in my earlier, I was the principal of two colleges, and the previous college of mine is where he was from, and then he transferred to the new college where I was the other college principal, and that is where Shaun continued his journey. And another important factor is that he said that today it is uh, 10 years
10 years journey since we
yeah,
met.
since we
So,
met. Where did
so,
we first meet?
so I met ma'am when I started my Nata classes
Nata
in
classes.
SKET.
Yeah.
And then it was April of 2015, and today it is April of 2025.
that we are
So
here.
that's 10 years down the line.
Yes, that's 10 years
since
down
we
the
know
line.
each other.
I really want to know. I remember Nata class. Nata
Yes, ma'am.
class mein, I was asking everybody, that something which you felt you have done very mischievous, very
Yeah.
naughty that you feel, because they had not got admission in architecture till then.
Right.
And we were asking कि क्या चीज है वो? So what
Yeah.
had you done? Tell me.
So during my school days, I was really interested in chemistry. So I had mixed some acid and some metals, and I had experimented with it and learned that it releases hydrogen as a gas. So I just bottled that up, and the bottle used to explode.
Yeah.
So that was a mischievous part where
And
I
that's what he
learned.
did. And that's what he did. And that is where I knew that creativity inbuilt hai, curiosity inbuilt hai, और innovate करना is something which he loves
Yeah.
to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, the curiosity has played a major part in my life.
Yeah.
Everywhere. So I mean, if you're not curious about some things or anything that you don't know, you would never go around it to experiment about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that curiosity was harmful also?
Yeah.
Very much?
Yeah.
In
It
some
always
ways.
it always comes at a cost, but you
Yeah.
have to be ready to bear the cost if you want to be curious about it every time.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to fail sometimes to try something new. So
Of course.
you can fail at it and you can try some new parts about it.
Yes. And I have been with Shaun through his years of struggle where he mentioned this word failed or got a KT and
Yeah.
tried to overcome it, which was really a very strong part of your initial 3 years, I should say.
Yeah. In the initial 3 years, KT was a big deal. I mean, KT or even having a year drop, it used to feel like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But then I was like, yeah, it's a part of life. You have to cover it up, and then you have to learn through it, and you have to learn to be normal about it, and you have to learn to how to grow up with it, not just keep it as a part of your experience or hide it as your as your experience. You just have to take it up as a challenge and say that I can flaunt about my failures now.
and इतने अच्छे से जो वो बात कर रहा है ना, इतना खुश होकर बोल रहा है you should flaunt about your failures, ऐसा नहीं था जब failure सामने आता था. Okay, so he is a kid who was very anxious, very anxiety बहुत थी. He used to get scared during the submissions. I mean, every student who goes through this phase goes, and especially with a curious student who doesn't accept किसी और ने बोला हुआ और मैं करूंगा, मुझे मेरा जो दिमाग है वो ही लगाना है. And then why will this not happen? यहाँ से जो शुरू होता है.
I mean, when sometimes when professors don't give you the answers that why you shouldn't do it, rather than just don't do it, it helps you a lot. You need to know the answer behind why you shouldn't do it.
Yes.
And if you don't get those answers, you will always try to do it. And every time when I never used to get that answer that why I shouldn't do this, I used to go to ma'am. So she was my always a 9/11. Yeah, ma'am, please come home. Like that.
Yeah, and ma'am, ये नहीं हो सकता क्या? And then we used to like ponder over it, saying that नहीं हो सकता है. Let's see how we can work out over it, right? Yeah. So it was you were always a very enthusiastic student, who would want to do something so interesting and so enthusiastically. But when you were stopped and you found hurdles, you were equally scared of
Yeah.
overcoming them, because
Yeah.
somewhere that marks and those failures.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time the setback comes up, you always tend to question yourself again and
Yeah.
again. But questioning yourself is a part of it. It's the first part of it, I would say. If you don't question yourself, then you would never think of going around the hurdle.
Going around the hurdle, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think this questioning, because of his hurdles, came very early to him. So I remember even during his internship, when we were talking that where you should go for your internship, you remember?
Yeah.
What I should do. And I somewhere felt that he, being a person who is very innovative, he loved to work with machines
Yeah.
and steel and something which he loved doing with hand and trying to innovate. That was a time when you came up with
So when I started my architecture career, yes, when I started my architecture career, and I was in second year of my architecture, I got my first project as an interior designer.
Yeah.
So that was my first learning curve. Then I started doing bungalow projects. Third year, fourth year में I started doing my bungalow projects. But वो भी करके देखा, and by the time I reached fourth year, I was thinking about it, that what shall I do my internship in, or what next shall I learn about it. And suddenly an opportunity came up, which was in an iron and steel company, to work as a research and development associate with
So
one
it was
of my senior.
more of an industrial
Yeah,
architecture.
it was in industrial architecture, or moreover, I would say industrial product design architecture. And it was an experience, like the challenges that we usually don't see in the architectural stream, in the colleges that we don't know about, are seen over there in the real world, especially during internship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is a time when I think you designed that fire
Yeah,
escape
the
staircase.
fire escape staircase. That was a
Yeah.
product which we were working on as a research team.
Yeah.
And we were
And
a
it was
team.
very innovative. I
Yeah.
mean, somewhere where you could have actually got a patent out of it,
Yeah.
So I was so proud seeing you working so rigorously and, putting all your ideas and creative thoughts in that.
So building the team was a different thing, but when the idea was initiated by the directors of Delta Iron and Steel Company, Mr. Arvind Agarwal, it was just one senior architect and me as a junior architect, as an intern architect, working as a junior architect with them. And there were two civil engineers, two mechanical engineers, and I was like, how are we going to work in this setup? There are 4 engineers and just 2 architects. But then it was fun experience learning with them. I got to know a lot of things about civil. I got to learn and respect not just architecture as a profession, but even engineering as a profession and all the associated professions along with architecture that run around. And that was a fun experience.
Yeah,
actually.
because after all, architecture is a teamwork. It is not possible by one person to. Absolutely. A very important lesson, I suppose. That
and being from architecture stream, we are always associated with civil engineers.
Yeah.
But when it comes to something which is technicality and mechanics of things, we never think about mechanical engineers as the thing. But that's where when I got to see the mechanical part of architecture in it, and it was really an experience working with them.
Yeah.
So that was the first part where I learned in my internship itself that you need to start understanding and respecting everyone's profession in engineering as well as architecture, as well as whatever field they work in.
Exactly.
Not just like every person who is working, let's say even a rack picker has his job and it is to be respected.
That's where I respected. We can't say tu ja kar le dekho. You have to guide him. You have to tell him ki haan yahan hai debris baba. The fact is, I know Shaun is a very compassionate person also. So more than his creativity and innovativeness, I felt him a very humanitarian kid, बहुत ज़्यादा sensitive, सबके बारे में सोचना. Even when in the class also, when we had debates, when we used to talk together, I used to always feel that you were too sensitive to all these things. And moreover, I remember one project or one bungalow which you had got. कुछ तो वो frogs या crabs का कुछ था. Remember you told me that there was some chowki, some Polish chowki or something which you
that was during when architect Sangeeta Kapoor was taking us through the Godrej Minds, nature park. And
you were in your third year?
in my third year. Yeah, right. So during that time, when we had went to the Godrej Nature Park, and Miss Sangeeta told us that how would you design a nature park in this region? And everybody came up with concrete designs. Everybody came up with bamboo. Everybody came up with this, and I didn't have anything as a design. I mean, I living in Vasai Virar, mangroves have been a part of Vasai Virar for a very long time, and I have seen mangroves whenever I used to go cycling around near the beaches. So I had observed those small fielder crabs which used to be there in those mangrove swamps. So my answer to Sangeeta ma'am was, the best design that I would do is no design.
Yeah.
So
I won't disturb.
I won't disturb it
the
at all.
sanity over
If
here.
if anyone wants to go in the nature park, they have to get muddy into the swamp itself, and they want to, if they want to experience, just like the nature photographers, they wear the whole suits and go into the swamp just to click those birds.
Yeah.
You have to do it if you want to experience it by
Exactly. So, these small dialogues when we had as his principal, when I was talking to him, I realized how intensely involved he gets with a project, and it is very important that to know that this was developed in you at a very early stage.
Yeah.
And that is why we are here today in his house, in his bungalow, where he has designed immediately as he graduated his architecture. I think when you came for the convocation, was the first thing you said, "Ma'am, आपको आना है, मैं bungalow बना रहा हूँ, आपको देखना है मैंने क्या किया है." And so today we are here and we are trying to understand that what Shaun has done in this bungalow, some amazing ideas. This is your fourth year after graduation?
Yeah.
Right?
Third year after that. Fourth year after that.
Fourth year. So, as a young graduate architect, he immediately started on this project of designing a bungalow of his own, and he has given an amazing impact to what he has done. We will understand the bungalow also in each and every aspect. Shaun, currently you are working with alternate angle?
Yeah, I'm working with Milind Survey and Snehal Survey.
That's right.
So, and it's a fun experience.
Yeah.
I mean, getting hands on every part of the design as well as licensing as well as construction is just absolutely amazing in their company.
Exactly. And I remember architect Milind Survey, telling me, and we are good friends, of course. So Milind telling me कि इस बच्चे को बस छोड़ देना है, you shouldn't give him any boundaries कि ये करो वो करो, just tell him, say this is the idea, this is what I want, और फिर उसे छोड़ देना है, वो सब संभाल लेगा. And that is the best part of you, because once you decide, you cannot leave that until unless you complete it. That was maybe a hurdle.
Yeah, it was. I mean, not just me, each and every architect of us would be facing this challenge in their every year of architecture, that we start the portfolio and till the end of jury, we feel that portfolio is never complete. Never complete. और वो क्वेश्चन मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा रहता था, हमेशा रहता था कि मेरा पोलियो कंप्लीट ही नहीं हुआ है. And at sometimes I have even done this, that I wouldn't submit my portfolio just because it's not complete. I feel that it's not complete. But
tell me
completion,
that. I know.
Completion
I
never
remember
comes
his
up.
mom calling me up and saying that, "Ma'am, ये जा ही नहीं रहा है college submission लेके," and he's saying, "Ma'am, मेरा complete नहीं हुआ है."
मतलब completion is not. मतलब architecture के लिए design never ends.
Exactly.
For an architect, design never ends, because हर बार once you completed the plan and you see it after 2-3 years, you will always feel, अरे यार इस जगह पे मैंने ये कर सकता था, इस जगह पे मैं और कुछ ऐड कर सकता हूँ. And it is always there. So it's never ending process. So it's never going to be complete. So portfolio के लिए पीछे इतना भागते हम लोग सोचते हैं कि ये complete होने तक मैं submit ही नहीं करूँगा, तो वो मेरा बहुत बड़ा एक challenge हुआ करता था हमेशा.
Right, and I think this is a very good advice that Shaun is giving to all the youngsters, these young architects who feel that मेरा portfolio complete करके ले जाना है. This thing will always remain, that incompleteness. But I think that is what takes you ahead. That is what makes you more innovative and more creative.
One of my professor, which I had met through Rupali ma'am itself, Mr. Asher Dushan, He told me
Dushyant, yes.
design is always ongoing process, and that sentence stuck with me forever. That your design you should always leave the scope for improvement every time. You shouldn't complete it 100%. So never work on it कि 100% complete कर दूंगा. 99% complete कर दो, 1% scope हमेशा वो change of scope आ ही जाएगा उसमें.
Yes. Dushyant is a very dynamic professor who really tries to find out, what the student wants. I mean, he never imposes the idea. It just like throws challenges to you, questions to you, so that you come up with answers.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first year experiment that he gave us was he took us to Sanjay Gandhi National Park and he told us to collect natural elements, and everybody collected leaves, petals, bark. The second challenge that he gave us was sketching the texture of that element on a paper, and everybody was questioning, even myself, that how would you sketch the texture on a 2D surface, something that you feel, to put it down on a flat surface. I mean, it was a very big challenge, but then he guided us that, see, you need to learn to put the sketches and strokes in such a way that it should feel like a texture, rather than just making we just have the set idea that texture is something that is to be felt. And that's where he put up the challenge, where texture can be sketched in your sketchbook as well. That's where it came up.
Yes. Yeah. So many hands have worked together to make what you are.
I mean, a lot of professors have worked on me. I would say all of my professors have been gurus, even the ones who I used to feel that ये बहुत तंग करते हैं, ये बहुत तंग करते हैं,
बस इनके साथ नहीं
but
जाना है.
they have been they have been even I remember them sometimes. But इन्होंने ये चीज सिखाई थी, इसलिए मेरे को आज तक याद है.
Exactly. Wonderful. I'm glad you're sharing this with the students, because they are going through now, all the torment that architecture gives them. But eventually it is something which you will feel blessed about, and you will feel that you are complete as an architect. Right?
And not just me, each and every architecture students, when they graduate, 5 years down the line, 15 years down the line, they would remember this part. Like I remember recently, 2 years back, two of my colleagues had went to Europe, and they shared the experience that whenever we went through Europe and we saw spaces like the Palace of Brussels and blah blah blah, they used to remember their humanities map. That she used to tell that this is how it is, the Eiffel Tower, this is how it is. And in humanities, we hear about it and we listen about it. But them running down like 10 years after architecture and seeing that in person and remembering their ma'am is just the same experience that I'm giving right now to you guys. It's a similar one.
Exactly.
There's no difference in that. But you would remember your good professors and bad professors, every professor that you have, and each and everything that they'll teach you.
Exactly. That goes into the making of these all 5 years of architecture education.
Truly.
So, Shaun, tell us, when you began this bungalow, how did you approach it? This plot was vacant that time?
Yeah, it was vacant. It was completely not a barren land, but used to be. We used to cultivate bananas or maybe some other thing in this plot. And then we decided to have a house over here.
So this area is basically Virar?
Yeah, this is Virar. This is in Virar, region known as Nandakhal. So this place, Nandakhal, the Vasai region, you can say, has been the home for Catholics for more than 600 years now. The oldest church in this city, Vasai Virar, is more than 700 years.
Oh, wonderful.
And they have the community has been living over here, and everybody knows everyone.
Exactly.
It's like that. Everyone is connected.
Right.
So they have been one of my thing that my grandfather used to say. My grandfather's grandfather actually used to say is Mumbai बनली वसईकरांमुळे. वसईवरनच सर्व सामान तिकडे पोहोचतं. ती मुंबई बनली वसईकरांमुळे. ते वाक्य
It's a
मला
fact.
नेहमी लक्षात
Yes,
राहते.
yes. मुंबई भरली वसईकरांमध्ये. So true. So true.
Yes.
So we were, Sean, talking about your bungalow.
Yeah.
Definitely we will go and have a tour because उसके
Yes.
अलावा तो
Yeah.
देखने में मजा नहीं
बताने में
आएगा,
मजा ही नहीं.
and I want to see that enthusiasm when you say कि ये करने में क्या हुआ and ये करने में क्या.
Yeah.
I also remember you talking about Aniket Vishwakarma, your batchmate,
Yeah.
helping you out, right?
So when I designed the courtyard in my house, so तभी मैंने अनिकेत को बोला था कि मुझे so he does stone sculptures which is rock balancing. So तभी मैंने उसको बोला था कि मेरे घर में मेरे को एक rock balancing का sculpture चाहिए, मुझे बना दूंगा. तो मैं few days ago, just 5 to 10 days ago the inauguration, I just went with my car to Manori और उधर से हम लोगों ने स्टोन्स उठाए, गाड़ी में डाले, and we came through the jetty and came over here. यहाँ पे आके हम लोगों ने पूरा सेटअप किया, and then वो पूरा खड़ा करने तक वो we took time till night. वो सेट करने के बाद it was like the fixed sculpture that he has done.
मतलब कोई तो जो रात भर बैठ के मॉडल बनाते थे ना, वैसा फीलिंग
वैसा
आया
ही
होगा ना.
feeling आया. Drilling the rocks and even balancing them for like we started the work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon after reaching over here, and it took us up to 12 o'clock, like 9 hours in the whole process.
Wow.
And we completed it in one day.
Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. I must tell this to Aniket. I was not
Yeah.
aware of this,
Yeah.
skill of his.
He's doing really good rock balancing. Recently, he had went to Haridwar और उसने मुझे recently एक वीडियो भी भेजा. तो he's sitting on the bank of Haridwar and वहाँ पे उसने ऐसे 4-5 ऐसे rock balancer एक साथ खड़े करके रखे and he's just standing over there like this. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Great. So I think let's not waste time. We will start taking the tour of your
sure,
house.
Why not?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are now Sean.
Going
Chalo.
Yes.
Ajo, we are entering Sean's house. So this was the plot.
Yeah, this was the plot. It was divided into 2 plots. So half of the first plot was kept vacant just for the future this thing.
Yeah.
And now we are using it as a garden.
Wonderful.
So my dad loves to plant trees and vegetables over here.
Wonderful.
And we have a driveway over here, and then we have the main facade, which is completely covering up the whole view. And we, because of the garden, we get a foreground because of it, and even it even enhances in elevation as well as
it does, especially those slit windows, you know.
Yeah. So the slit windows was an idea which the staircase was in the south facade itself. So how do we elevate your staircase even by not letting the harsh sunlight from south get inside?
Right.
So I use the slit windows with glass blocks in it, so, and around it. So it makes the elevation look like it has those vertical lines.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So yeah, let's enter from here. So this is the main entrance.
Yeah.
And you enter and you are welcomed in a foyer area.
Oh wow, beautiful. I mean this flow that takes you to the living room.
It was a 21 feet length, 21 feet in length, and it was a flat slab, which I wanted to make it in copper ceiling because of the length as well as to enhance its the grandness of it.
Yeah.
It gives us 11 feet height in it.
Yeah,
So
it complements this.
Yeah.
What were the challenges in the slab?
So when I started, when I chose to make the copper slab, I was like, I'll do the copper slab, but I didn't knew that I'll have to fill up the pots by myself, place them in the ground, and then take help of each and every mistri to tie up the reinforcement in between.
Yeah.
Then put concrete over it, and then just get the slab done.
But I'm glad you tried it out.
Yeah, I tried it because I really wanted to see that what happens is हम लोग sheet में हम लोग हर चीज देख लेते हैं कि हाँ ये है वो है, but वो hands on experience जब तक नहीं आता है तब तक उसमें मजा ही नहीं आता.
मजा नहीं आएगा.
और मेरे को ये ट्राई करना था unless and until मैं दूसरे किसी को सजेस्ट करने से पहले मेरे घर पे खुद पे घर पे अगर ट्राई नहीं करूंगा तो फिर किसके घर कहाँ पे करूंगा. And just to highlight this copper slab, I used a black tile flooring, so it just reflects when the lights are lit up.
Yeah.
And it gives you a feeling that you're walking on a ramp itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
And then we have the
Wonderful.
courtyard,
This
which
is
the dining
amazing.
area.
I love you for making
Yeah.
this because this is something which
Yeah.
an architect would understand
Yeah.
the best.
An
And
architect would always like to have a courtyard in his house.
Yeah.
Always. Because it always
Exactly.
connects you with the inside and the outside of the house every time.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's the stone sculpture that I was talking about.
The stone sculpture, yeah. Which
So
you and
Aniket Vishwakarma
Aniket.
has done it for me.
Right.
And
And I suppose this atrium also gives, you
Yeah.
know, the bedrooms
yeah,
windows
it
open
gives
up.
an overlooking view from the
Ah.
bedrooms by still maintaining its privacy because it is
Yeah.
windowed, not by the with a passageway around it.
Exactly.
And
Amazing.
Yeah.
And the upper balcony is overlooking this atrium also.
Yeah, the dining, the balcony, the passageway which is
Wow.
going from the first floor,
Ah,
it is overlooking the courtyard as well as the dining area,
yeah.
and it is overlooking uh, the
Right.
void of the staircase itself.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So you can see those slit windows in the glass blocks that we have used,
Yes.
and it still complements the staircase and its elevation, and still gives us the light inside.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course. I mean, the whole place looks perfectly lit, not harsh at all.
Yeah.
What is the intensity of the sunlight in all seasons over here?
Yeah, during the summer seasons, the sunlight might reach up to this, up to 2 feet or 3 feet from the courtyard region.
Yeah.
But during the winters, it is completely diffused.
Ah.
And I usually tend to keep the. I usually like to cover up the glass
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
whenever you don't want the harsh sunlight with the
Ah.
fabric. That's it.
Yeah, right.
So whenever you don't want that much sunlight, or if you're planning to sit over here, you just cover it up with
and
the
then,
fabric itself
Right.
and just sit around.
Wonderful.
And you have windows around it, so you don't feel really hot inside.
Right.
First of all,
Yeah. So there are these sliding
Yeah.
windows
yeah.
which.
So you open up this, and you have windows behind it.
Right.
You just
Perfect.
so it gives you a experience of indoor-outdoor experience
outdoor
directly in here.
experience. Amazing. Wonderful. Shaun, I even loved the open kitchen concept. Huh?
Yeah.
Especially it is secluded, at the same time open. The dining area is here. Very well planned. I mean, I can see all those drawings being...
Yeah. Well, what we learn in architecture is we need to have the living room right as we enter, or foyer and then the living room. But if you see in my house, the living room is completely secluded.
inside.
Because I wanted to keep the living room as a formal space completely over here.
Hmm.
But when you're in your own house, you need to be informal.
Yeah.
You have to be informal. So
Right.
my courtyard is the first place which greets you, which is the informal place, and then the dining area, and then the living room comes at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the living room is completely with an open kitchen, and we have a 14 feet length platform, which is used as a primary platform
Yeah.
right now, and we have a utility platform which is right behind it.
That is a very interesting concept that you said, that
Yeah.
you usually had your utility and
Yeah.
areas outside, and you have also maintained that
Yeah.
thing, because that's why
So-
because Indian cooking is so intense.
Yeah, Indian cooking is
Yeah,
so intense.
so-
It has
so to
heat
keep-
involved. It has
Exact-
spices involved. It has
Yeah.
so much of flames involved in it.
Absolutely.
And
Tadka
you need
maar
to
ke.
तड़का मार के होना ही चाहिए
And
वो
fish
पा-
and if it is
Yeah.
vasai virar matlab
Yeah,
तो-
वो तो फूड में मजा ही आना चाहिए, तो इसलिए
बिल्कुल।
वो सेकेंडली ये
backdoor of kitchen area.
utility kitchen is kept behind,
Huh.
and it is completely open.
The cantilever. This must be a
Yeah.
challenge again to especially carpentry mistri ko
Yeah.
batana.
So ये TV unit जो है, it is 8 feet in length, and it doesn't has any supports on the ground itself.
To the top,
to the
base, huh?
base, and then it goes around and
Ah.
balances the whole
Okay.
structure on it.
Yeah.
But 8 feet in length, when I told my carpenter about it that I want to do this, he was really like, ये होगा ही नहीं, बहुत मुश्किल काम बोल रहे हैं आप. But then I gave him the idea that we are going to hang it around like this.
Yeah.
And
That
we're like,
made all the difference.
It made the difference.
Wonderful.
So that's where my experience in working with iron and steel came up. So you can hang things with iron and steel, which are not possible in wood.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's go up now. So this is ground plus
This is ground plus one.
one.
So there's one bedroom on the ground floor.
Yeah, one
which
bedroom,
is
which is the master
parents' bedroom.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just as you enter, we have the bedroom right behind here. So it is covered by this foyer area setup, which
gives the privacy.
Which gives the privacy around here.
Right.
And then there we have a wash basin for the dining area. So whenever guests arrive, just to wash their hands, you can have the wash basin over here.
Right.
We have a washroom right over here, which is a common washroom actually. And the bedroom being so near, so it was not necessary to have a master bedroom.
Right.
Yeah. This is my parents' bedroom. So, yeah.
The best part is it gets cross ventilated, all three windows, all sides.
So my dad loves to have the windows on all sides of
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So he wanted windows on all three sides and wardrobe on one wall and bed on the one of the window side. So that's how it was.
Amazing. You have used nice, colors also. The warmth of the color is not very contrasting and not very jazzy. Wonderful.
I actually I didn't want to have too many colors in my house. So my sister and me, we personally don't like to have a lot of colors. We like to have the house in a white background and all the furniture in grey or maybe black or maybe other colors.
Right.
So that's what we have tried to do.
Right. We'll go up now.
Yeah.
So upstairs we have 3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
3 bedrooms.
Yes. One thing that I would like to show you here is we have used glass blocks in the house, but here the glass blocks are transparent. So person sitting in the living room can directly see if anyone came over here.
Wonderful.
But the same glass blocks, when we are using it on the facade, do have a pattern over it. So it maintains the privacy over here.
Yeah, so they get a bit opaque for not transparent enough to see. Right? Very smart.
Anyway. So
all the materials, how should be used where and how the role they play. It's wonderful, Shaun, to see your design ideas coming into and mainly this is just a start. I mean, ये तो शुरुआत है. अभी आगे I'm sure.
So यहाँ पे भी first second slab के time पे भी I said we'll have the coffered slab.
Continuity कुछ
मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं किया, just like on the ground floor. I made 2 small pockets where there were entrances of the bedrooms. So these are the 2 bedrooms that we have on the first floor. This is the sister's bedroom and this is the guest bedroom on the first floor.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think the walk-in closet is something which is again, the dream of...
the dream of new generation, the walk-in closet. So in my sister's bedroom, we get the 2 windows around the bed.
So you can see from here.
Which overlook the courtyard space.
The courtyard space,
directly.
Right. Amazing.
She has a window with a sit-out. So while making the sit-out, it was a challenge because I had planned it, but making such a big sit-out, which is actually 1.5 feet, the contractor was like, we'll have to make a slab for this. So we had to run a complete beam throughout for this and make this sit-out. So it becomes like a sit-out space for in the bedroom itself, like an informal place. And you have the view and then you can sit.
Wonderful.
That's it. Wonderful. You have a walk-in wardrobe over here.
Yeah, so washroom on one side and
washroom on the one side and the wardrobe on the other side.
Very nice. Perfect.
So I've used the slit glass blocks in the walk-in wardrobe as well. So her walk-in stays lit.
Of course, that they make so much of a difference.
It's on the west side, so I try to keep just minimal slits over here.
Right. Great. I think from here we can see the atrium much.
From here you can see the bedroom as well as from here you can see the dining area and if anyone's entering.
Right. This is the overlooking.
The one thing that you would see, the pattern that I've repeated in the staircase for the glass blocks is 3, 5, 7, 9. That is a stack that I've just reversed it and I've staggered it a little bit. So it makes the pattern around it.
Yeah, these are staggered a bit and then again these repeat on the top.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
this stays 9, that stays 9, this 7, 7, 5, 5 and 3, 3 on the edges.
And that gives a pattern to the facade also.
Yeah.
Perfect. I remember you telling me that you have done this on the grid. Planning,
I actually did it on a grid planning of 9 squares. So the first square is the entrance foyer. The second square becomes the staircase block. The third square becomes the living room.
Right.
The fourth square becomes the kitchen. The fifth square becomes the dining area. Sixth square becomes the bedroom. The seventh square is the toilet, and eighth square is the courtyard, and the ninth square is a utility kitchen. So the same pattern is repeated in the skylight itself. So 9 squares in the skylight.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah. So for the house, I procured a chandelier which was which I had purchased of 21 sets, 21 pieces. So these pieces are individual pieces that I got them, and they are. I had to make the chandelier here itself in the house, so I had to make it on plywood first. जहाँ पे
चाहिए punctures कहाँ चाहिए yes.
So 16 places, and it goes 22 feet in length till the from the top to bottom. So 22 feet में हर एक piece would be just dropped by 1.5 feet. So it makes the 22 feet length. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So 22 में से 16 इस तरफ use किए हैं, and I used 5 of them on the other side. It makes the 21 set. So your dining gets a chandelier as well as your open well of the staircase gets 21.
Great.
This is the outdoor balcony that I have kept it as a
very interesting balcony. Yes.
So small party or friends get together can happen over here. यहाँ पे open. Later on, you can just cover it up with sliding and use it as a working space, working station.
Working station. हाँ, जब practice बढ़ेगी तो चाहिए ना हमें फिर office area तो चाहिए बड़ा खासा.
Office like as an architect, we always like to have a comfort zones working space at a home somewhere. एक घर का कोना हमेशा होता है जहाँ पे हम लोग को बैठ के काम करना पसंद है. I'm building one over here now. Later on.
Great. So तेरा कमरा घर के बाहर वाले एरिया में. That's true.
And this is my bedroom.
Okay.
So you can guess it by just seeing the concrete. Exposed concrete walls.
Exposed concrete walls.
Yes, we architects love exposed concrete.
I know.
So I
minimalistic.
So I used those cement bison boards, and I had cut them in size of 3 feet by 4.5 feet, and I repeated a pattern. The 3 feet reason behind the walk-in wardrobe door was for 3 feet. So ma'am, you can just show
functionality.
Functionality को देख के मैंने वो sizes को align किया.
This is how this side.
You just open it and you get into the walk-in wardrobe.
Amazing. Beautiful. So again a wardrobe and your
So we have a wardrobe and a full-size mirror.
Wow.
Along with us.
Fabulous. Must.
Washroom
and this is such a luxury, yaar. I mean, to think of, having these spaces in a city area is a blessing. Definitely.
It's like connected to the city, but still outside the city.
Yeah, exactly.
In the serenity of the village.
And somewhere I liked when you said, that 25 years I was with my clients. So when we say in architecture, you have to get into the shoes of the client,
Yeah.
So you really, this is a nice corner.
One part of this corner is that in my initial planning on the ground floor bedroom that we saw, the washroom was connected to the parents' bedroom, but they didn't want to have the like we see the older generation don't actually admire the space called the walk-in wardrobe
हाँ
spaces
हाँ हाँ
or
yeah
master bedroom का attached toilet.
बराबर
वो उन लोग के mentality के हिसाब से, not mentality, I would say their
उनके
generation के
habit
time
के
के
हाँ
habit के हिसाब से वो लोग बहुत वो generation में जी चुके हैं where they have used common washroom.
हाँ
So उन लोग के लिए वो luxury इतना
yeah
ये होने के
मतलब
बाद भी
they
they cannot
accept it. They don't accept it.
yeah.
They're like नहीं तू इतना तेरे
हाँ.
लिए कर जो कर रहा है हमें वैसा ही दे. You're right.
तो बाद में मैंने वॉशरूम का थोड़ा सा शिफ्ट किया इस
हाँ,
तरफ
हाँ.
एंड देन आई क्रिएटेड दिस कॉर्नर बालकनी आउट ऑफ इट.
Okay.
सो वो ग्राउंड फ्लोर पे कुछ नहीं है एंड इट
हाँ,
बिकम
हाँ.
जस्ट अ बीम डाल के मैंने स्लैब ऐड कर दिया
Okay.
एंड इट बिकम लाइक अ बालकनी स्पेस.
Oh,
It's still inside the
nice.
house and still outside the house.
Oh,
Like that.
yes, yes, of
Just
course.
because the step up that I made and the
हाँ,
material that I
and
used, the
yeah,
wooden tiles,
makes
and
all the
it makes
difference.
all the difference over here.
You have a well over there?
Yeah.
Oh, existing था वो?
नहीं ये
बनाया?
we made this well.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ground water अच्छा होगा ना यहाँ
Groundwater
पे?
अच्छा है. Yes. Groundwater is actually has the TDS level थोड़ा सा ये है,
हाँ.
but we added a filtration plant in the house.
Okay.
So filtration plant की वजह से अभी वो TDS ये हो गया. So
हाँ.
it's the whole water is filtered for the whole house.
Oh, fantastic.
So daytime का light का cost बहुत कम हो गया.
हाँ, of course it is so
Fans का
well.
cost completely cross ventilation की वजह से कम हो गया है. And for the other part, I've used solar on my terrace, which is वो तो अभी basic हो ही गया है. Everybody is using it now.
Yeah.
Solar for electricity and solar for water heating.
Nee, but this is a very important thing when we say that we need, cross ventilation. I mean, you don't need ACs actually to be there when if
Yeah.
your design is right.
Yeah.
And you don't
Truly.
need extra lights if your ventilation and,
Yes.
which is absolutely seen here. And you can understand each and every, even the lobbies or, any small spaces are all lit up.
Yeah. But
Amazing
just
job,
for the
boss.
just for the
Very
sake
good.
of video now, we are just putting on all the lights.
Yeah, it's for the
Yeah.
sake of video, otherwise we don't require them. True. Wonderful. And then top floor is terrace.
Yeah, the top floor is terrace. It's
Yeah.
completely an open terrace.
Yeah.
All the utilities like the inverters, the solar meter and all are kept on the terrace itself in the passageway.
Right.
So the
Again, that you
passageway
get
is
a separate, हाँ,
used.
open space काफी मिल
Yeah.
जाता है.
तो यहाँ पे वो ये नहीं, it doesn't hinder around your living spaces.
Yeah. Of course. Wow. Lovely.
Right under the staircase, we have the bar that we
Oh yeah,
haven't been
how
shown.
could I forget that? Yes, please. So this bar
So-
was like a
Yeah.
good
when the staircase
demand
was
from
made, तब मैंने
Yeah.
RCC staircase बनाया था, तब मैंने ऐसे ही sketch कर दिया था कि ये बार
हाँ,
ऐसे बना
हाँ.
था. And it came up and it happened.
Yeah.
जिस डिजाइन में बनाया था sketch में, वैसे का वैसा ही बना दिया.
Right.
I didn't change the design at all.
Nice.
And use the other spaces in the under the staircase for the
हाँ.
storages.
Yeah.
So it doesn't creates a negative space
Hmm.
and it still gives you a positive vibe
Good.
because it's a bar.
Even the staircase with,
Yeah.
the way railing has been used.
Yeah.
And this is glass.
We have used glass railing completely because mostly abhi wo wooden staircase banana, it's a very tedious
Yeah.
process. It's a costliest process, I would say.
Yeah.
And उसको fit करना, उसको maintain करना
Of course.
बहुत मुश्किल पड़ जाता है.
How much expenditure went into making
So roughly around 2 CR was the cost that went in
this?
this.
Went behind this. Wonderful. Chalo, great. Let me shake hand with the architect in being now.
Being with my
Wonderful.
professor again, just to explain my whole house gives me immense pleasure right now.
You won't imagine how proud I am feeling, and I hope I can, get more and more students and show what they have done at this young age. I
Yes.
think I'm sure it will benefit our audience, our younger generation, and the young architects who are trying to
Yes,
look
yes.
ahead.
We should-
Definitely.
We should live to inspire itself.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you so much
Yes.
for welcoming us so warmly in your house. Thanks a
Yes.
lot, Shaun.
Thank you
All
for
the
being
best.
here.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.